Amazing. There is some brief or something. It takes time to switch, I think. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Hello, so good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing today? Let's wait for a few responses and then we'll continue. I am doing amazing today, Mr. Vipul. So, how are your preparations going on? Okay, I can see few responses now. Amazing. So, for today, I'm definitely going to talk about some important topics. What are the easy scoring topics, as well as some previous year questions as well. Apart from that, through this live, you will understand how you can come up with a strategy where you are managing your time properly. Because as you all know, there are like 25 minutes and 25 questions. So there's not much time for you to wait and just go on and continue with the same question. Specifically, I have seen that in reading comprehension, students struggles the most. So today I'm going to definitely talk about different strategies, different things that can help you score good. Oh, I can see few responses that they're not doing good. It's okay. I mean, preparations, they are a little challenging, but you'll definitely be there. Okay. So we are getting amazing responses, and definitely we'll be starting now. Yes. So before moving forward, I would really love to know that how many of you struggle most with the verbal section, and what is that one specific topic or the area that you feel like this is very typical to deal with? Okay. So meanwhile, while you all are just commenting and sharing your thoughts, I will continue with what I've prepared for today. Okay. Okay, synonyms is something that you struggle. Hmm. It's not that typical, to be very honest. Definitely throughout the videos and everything, yes, reading comprehension being one, it's the major area I've seen. So why don't we first start with reading comprehension and then I'll continue with what I have to share. Okay? Amazing. So first, I would love to share my screen here. See. So I have seen people struggling most with understanding the meaning of the words, right? I mean, there are times when you are like, we have not even heard this before, and they are expecting us to tick or choose from the right ones. How's that even possible for the words that we are not aware much about, right? So what I'm going to do is there's this table. You can take a screenshot of this. Let me just zoom. it in a way that you're able to take a screenshot. Right. So first, there are two things that we have to really look for: prefix and suffix, right? For example, you have to understand the analysis of the entire word. For example, there's benevolent. So bene is good, wall, will. So it's like something positive is there. So you have to understand the tone of the word. If you're not able to understand that, definitely look for the most familiar words or the words that you are most aware about, right? And then you can just either choose from those, or then you can either cross them, and then you can understand. For example, if there is a sentence, right? And in that sentence, you can sense that this is talking about something, I would say, negative. So if the entire sentence is negative, then you'll be choosing some, low tone words. And that's how you interpret. Now, I have few examples as well. Before that, see, root analysis we have done. You break it down using the prefix and suffix, and that's how you continue. Second is the feel or the sound. Now there is this little feel of the words. This might seem quite funny to even listen to, but yes, words they have a harsh sound and a soft sound. Just by listening to them, you can understand if this has a harsh sound or a soft sound. For example, we have words with harsh sounds, right? CR, GR, rupt, RUPT. So it's usually used as erupt, right? Interrupt. So something breaking, something low, something harsh. That's how you understand. Huh? Second is soft sound. Soft sound is usually something which is going to be very positive, right? The moment you can hear it, you are like, fine, this is making sense now. Next is you have to eliminate. So you will get questions, right? And then you'll have options. So based on the options and the sentence, whatever you have understood, you have to eliminate the extremes options. There are times where you will be having the extreme two options, right? Either they are like way too extreme and way too moderate. So just by understanding that, you can cross them at that point of time, and then you can focus more on the two options you're left with. That's the sort of a strategy we need to have, right? Next is a usage of sentence context. Now, what is a context? For example, if there is an argument, you can understand that the context is little negative, something like that, not good. So, same is with the positive aspects as well. Context is nothing but in what intent the sentence has been made or written. So, please take a screenshot of this particular table where these are the, I would say, the usually we get such words, uh, and we can break it down using their root, their meaning, and their examples. Okay. For example, now there is a root. Root is bene or born. Now, what's the meaning? Good, right? And then we have examples as well. So I'm not gonna get into the depths of this right now, but you can take a screenshot and you can just have a look that how you can perceive different words. Meanwhile, just a second, let me have a look at certain comments now. If I'm making sense to all of you, please in the comment section do mention that if you're able to understand it. Yes, decoding, I can see one candidate he has mentioned decoding is something he's not able to understand. So that's the core of decoding. You have to decode the meanings, you have to break them out, right? Word decoding. So yeah, that's an amazing thing that you're coming up here. Uh, Okay, so in less time, in what are the areas that we can focus more to get more marks? Amazing answer, amazing question, I would say. So let's come back to that, and then definitely we're going to continue on the high scoring areas and the questions that will come across with. Okay, so this is more like a pattern breakdown of what I have done recently for your particular exam. Now, the topics I have mentioned. Like we will get reading comprehension, what is the estimate of the number of questions you'll get, the importance, the difficulty, and the priority of preparation. So what can you understand from here? You can understand that reading comprehension is something where you have to prioritize most on. You have to focus more on how you can save your time when it comes to reading comprehension, and I'm definitely going to come to that as well, right? And after that, we have sentence completions. I'm going to come up with few examples. I'm going to show you those examples today, and you'll also understand like okay how we can approach it. Okay. Next, we have sentence completion is basically nothing, but it is more about, like the fill in the blanks and everything. Next is error identification. Now, there are times when this is, I would say the difficulty is least. Why? Because the sentence is written in a way that the moment you have read the sentence, na, you will be able to make sense that okay, this is what the sentence is trying to tell us. So now I'm going to show an example to all of you so you'll understand what I'm trying to say here. Yes. So for example, just a second. I would be expecting responses on this particular question, definitely, so that you'll understand what I mean, why that sentence completion or fill in the blanks are the easiest of all, right? So, first is we have this question number 7. I hope you all can see that, right? With this question number 7, what you have to do is you have to just read it and then you'll be able to understand that what this is expecting from you. So, what it is expecting from you, it is expecting that you have to arrange the different segments to frame a meaningful sentence, right? Now, what is the sentence here? A national flag. And this is like a breakdown of multiple words, right? A national flag in the highest esteem by every patriot, and as such it is held, is a symbol of honor and ideal. Now, if you are like someone who's very new to understanding or approaching any question, then you'll be like you'll be directly you'll be going on and solving and making sense and rearranging the sentences. No, but that's not something that you have to do. First, you have to understand the overall context, or I would say the intent of the entire sentence. And how can you understand that? You can understand that just by reading. So, what it is telling me, it is telling me that it is that we are talking about a national flag and how it is for a patriot, it is considered to be the, like the most, or I would say the biggest symbol of honor or ideal, right? That's how they're passionate about it. So this is what the entire purpose of the sentence is. Now, I would expect few participants here in the chat box to please respond that what would be the right answer. I'll be looking at your responses here. Between option A, option A, B, C, and D. What? Okay. I can see few responses here. Most of the people are saying A, D, C, B. Yeah. Okay. So option D is what you all think, right? Amazing. And this is the right option, but let me just break it down because this is nothing but more about you have to get into the depths that how to approach it. I'm not going to get into the depths of this, but I'm going to give you a very quick tip here. First of all, you have to always, the step one of para jumbles or rearranging or filling up anything or looking for words or new words, whatever it is, you have to understand that subject must come first, right? That is the first priority that we need to have, which is the national flag. What is the subject? The one which we are talking about, or the one who is talking, or where the entire sentence is formed or been the entire conversation is based around him. That's what a subject is, right? So subject supposed to come first. Next, we are supposed to add verb. Now, what is a verb? Action words, right? So, what is an action? Is it always action word is always about putting or throwing or dancing or jumping? No. It could be some mental action as well. A thought process is also considered as a verb, right? So, it is a symbol. So, they see it with something with some expectations and all of that. And then you have to, then you can rearrange the remaining words and sentences, right? So that's how we usually approach it. Now, coming back to the main parts and coming back to the strategizing things, just a second. See. Now, what can you see here? So, this is more about where I'm going to talk about what you should attempt first, right? So, first is I would always suggest that go for something where formal or informal spelling is there and word completion is there, because genuinely it is like free marks. Word completion is very easy. Most of the times they're not even coming up with quite challenging words. Trust me if I'm saying this, no, they are not coming up with challenging words. The words are more or less, they sound same, meaning is fine. It's not that difficult to understand or crack it. So always go ahead with spellings or word completions. Second, go ahead with synonyms or antonyms. Definitely, there are few people who are gonna say that, ma'am, synonym is something we struggle most with. Fine, I am here to help you, know. So after you coming up with few words and synonyms and all of that, then definitely I would suggest go ahead with this. Why? With synonym, you, if you have that very little vocabulary as well, na, with little vocabulary and with good elimination methods, you can approach synonyms and error identification so easily that you'll be like, wow, how could I do that? So that's what you should do next. So please always approach word completions or spellings first, error completions or synonyms or antonyms second. Next, we have sentence completion or para jumbles. I just showed you an example right away, right? And you all were able to solve it. And within few seconds, you were able to solve it. So that's how easy it is. But what is the trick to solve it? The trick is that you need to understand the tone of the sentence. You need to have a contrast clue method. Now, what is a contrast clue? It's, for example, if you can understand the tone, then well and good. Then you will be able to understand if it is asking you to arrange it in a positive tone or a negative tone. So if you are aware about the tone, you will be aware about the contrasting clues as well. Contrasting is basically nothing that if this is positive, then how an argumentative or negative tone would sound like. That's what contrasting is all about. Next is reading comprehension or close test. Now, why I would say that you should do something like this at the end? Because it takes time for people to get done with the reading comprehension, and if the reading is slow now, so they'll lose marks then and there only. So let's approach with something which is easier to do. So please take a screenshot of this. And I have also mentioned the times. I think a little overlapping is here, but I'm going to tell you here, it is saying 30 seconds to 1 minute maximum it should be taking you to do that. 45 seconds to 1 minute it should be taking you to attempt synonyms or antonyms. You'll say, oh, 45 seconds is nothing. But I am telling you, with few strategies, you'll be able to do it very easily. Don't worry. Next is sentence completion. Maximum 1 to 2 minutes should be given to those sort of questions, I would say. And we also go ahead with weightage, no? So we have to take care of that too. Now, I'm gonna ask you all again here that how many of you agree with what I just showed you all? Please just mention a yes, no, or what your opinions are. Was it something that you were all already approaching, or is it something new for you? I'm actively checking responses. Okay, there are people who agree with me. That's a good thing. Now, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Amazing, amazing. It's amazing how actively all are responding as well. I really appreciate it. Okay. I actually created bunch of content for these videos so that it's easier for you all to understand and retain for the maximum period of time, right? Because that's what we are supposed to do. Okay. Now let's continue with something more. I don't believe in traditional cramping up and, just mugging up everything. I believe in something where the students are able to retain it for the longest time, while also it is easier for them to at least accept, like, okay, if this is a strategy, I can do it easily. That's the sort of an approach we should have towards learning anything. Okay, I'm gonna continue again now. Amazing. Next, I'm going to talk about the recommended attempt order that I feel I've seen in past few years. Or take a screenshot. I'm not going to get into it because why just going on and on and on and about it. Take a screenshot. Read it yourself. Five, six questions are there, so you'll attempt that first, then this, then that. So take a screenshot and you're good to go. Next, very important, always I remind myself of this and the students as well, that no negative marking in TCS NQT is there. So prefer not leaving these questions and all, like a so random guess could also be something where you'll have like 25% of chance at least because there are four options. So that's how you should approach it. So this is what I have done with the previous year questions here, right? I am going to explain a little bit about them and then after two questions, I'm going to continue with the reading comprehension strategy. Okay. For example, now we are supposed to identify the error here. Now, why I have mentioned the answer as well as the explanation here only because I don't want to waste time by asking, then waiting, and then giving explanation. Let's have it all in open. We are short on time. Okay. So first is that identify the error in the sentence. Everyday life have become more complicated with the advancement in mobile technology. Okay. So first is more complicated. Everyday life have become, I mean, the moment I was reading it, it was right there. It was right there. That okay, this is not making sense in terms of just hearing it. There are times when you don't know the meaning, you don't know the explanation, but we all have seen those Hollywood movies and series and Netflix content, right? We have heard so many dialogues and so many conversations and everything. So there are times when we know that this is not correct. We might not know that why this is not correct or this is correct, but still we know it. So go ahead with it rather than just doubting yourself because it's better to do something, it's better to attempt rather than leaving it. Go on with your intuitions there. Trust me, I go on with that only. Next is everyday life have become definitely this is an error. Now, why it is an error? Because life is a singular noun. Noun, we all are aware about it. Correct verb is has become. Why? Because it is quite obvious that with singular subject, we go ahead with singular verb. Apart from that, it is also about the tense aspects. I'm not going to get into the depths of that. For tenses, I have already provided content to the students. People who have not got it yet, still like those who are still looking out for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to in the upcoming few minutes, I'm going to show that to you and you can take a screenshot of it and you can have it. It will be very helpful for all of you. Okay. Next, for C1, okay. Next is finding the error again. He had been married to a doctor since 5 years. Okay. Now we have to identify the error here. He had been married since 5 years to a doctor or no error. Now, why since 5 years is an error? Because since is used for a specific point in time that we all are aware about. What it is? Prepositions, right? There are three types of prepositions. I hope you all remember that. Please, yes, I would be expecting your responses there. What are the three types of prepositions? Please comment in the chat box. Mr. Dev, if you want to enroll in the course, then definitely you can reach out to the team and they'll help you out with that. Yes, I'm asking you all. What are the three types of prepositions you remember? Come on. Yes, for time period we use. Okay, I get it. This is what you use for time period. But I want to know what are the three types of prepositions? Trust me, it's fun. Time, place, and direction. Lovely. Very nice. Amazing, amazing. And there is a specification as well. The specification is in a manner that, okay, one, two, and three. Okay, so specification is in a manner that if you're talking about a specific time, that's how you use it. If you're talking about a specific month, if you're talking about a specific day in the week, if you're talking about an year, right? Something like that, that's how it varies. Definitely we'll get into the depths of that when if you all will be connected with us, and that's how it will be. Okay? Now I'm going to continue with something very important now, which is I would say the most challenging part usually for all the students, right? Let's continue with that, which is the okay, comprehension. Just a second. TPD. Okay, time, place, subject. Yes, very nice. It's very good that you all are. Acha, if I ask you all, do you really enjoy English, like English as a language? If I ask, what's your take on that? Not English just for the sake of talking in those challenging, typical, and I would say difficult words, but English as a language to communicate. What are your takes on that? Please, I'm waiting for your comments. Okay, you enjoy. I am also coming up with yeah, English is very funny language, so you enjoy it. Yes, it is funny, right? Even I find it quite funny. It is not at all challenging. Trust me, it is not at all challenging. This, when we get into the grammars and the core of it, like understanding or decoding the language, that's where it gets little challenging. But the moment if you have that sort of a, I would say, for example, there are people who struggle most with, tenses, right? And this tenses is there is this only one table which can cover all your tenses. Majorly with our exams, you will get those. Please focus more on this past conditionals and all those. We have been discussing those in the classes as well, right? Okay. Now, let's talk about something very interesting now. Yes. Reading comprehension I have covered. No, I have to cover now. Okay. Chalo. Amazing. Yes. So for example, before continuing with the strategies and the phases and everything, if I ask you all, what is that one challenge that you face in reading comprehension in general? Because we all only talk about reading comprehension, but what is the challenge that you face? What about that? Coming back to the comments now. Sooner or later, I will be a fluent speaker. Yes, you will be. That's the spirit. It is hard to go with the flow, but to be very honest, there's this one strategy that I follow when it comes to spoken English. That would be that the moment I started talking to myself, there is that one thing that we do, like we Indians, we don't approach it in a good way, is that we think in Hindi or our language, whatever our mother tongue is, and then we expect that the moment we're going to open our mouth, English is going to come and it will be flowing. Now, is that really possible? You tell me, is that really possible? No, right? So that's what we have to do. We have to start talking to ourselves. We have to start thinking in English. For example, like we think in Hindi as well. No, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna plan something like that. So you, instead of just having it as like, okay, the moment I'm gonna open my mouth and in English will flow in, no. Start thinking in English as well. That's the area where you'll feel like, okay, now I am a fluent speaker. You won't be getting that mind fog. You won't be getting those hesitations, those jitters, I would say, the moment you are being put in the spotlight. So we have to work on that. Okay. Now, continuing with this, there is this three-phase method. Okay. Look, I'm not a designer, right? So there are few overlaps in the PDF, which is fine. Please bear with me, but it is going to make sense to you. Okay. Don't judge my creative skills here. Phase first is pre-read the question. Yes. So basically, I was just asking all of you as well, how do you approach reading comprehension? If I can get few more responses, please. How do you approach reading comprehension? I can see a few comments. Reading paragraphs take time. Yes, very true. Reading all. So are you all reading the paragraph first, the entire paragraph first? Read it thoroughly. First question, later answers, and then understand. Okay. 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 I'll tell you about my approach, and this has really worked out. Okay, first you read the questions. Amazing. So first of all, what happens is reading paragraphs should be done with a purpose. If you are just reading for the sake of, attempting the question, no. What do you know? And how would you know what you have to emphasize more on? I hope students in the class, like the first class that I took, I was talking about the readability rate, right? So there was this waved, WAVED, and there was this waved, WAIVED. Now, the point is, if you're reading, you're just casually reading, so you're gonna read both of them as waved, right? Even if there is a, I would say, spelling mistake. So, what is happening there? You are reading without any intention, without any purpose. You don't know what you have to look for. For example, before an exam, when you were in your college and everything, or in the schools, I still remember my teachers used to tell me that, you know what, this part is going to come in your exam and it is going to have like 20-25% of the weightage. So please be very conscious while you're approaching it or while you're attempting it. So even you guys were doing it while I was telling you, no, this will come in this weightage, this will come with this many, this much of a difficulty or an easiness. So you were also taking a note of that, and that's what I used to also do. So when people are highlighting things for you in a way like, this is important, this is what you have to do, or this is what you have to look for, you're going to be extra conscious and you won't be wasting your efforts in casually reading, right? So what we have to do is pre-read the questions first. 30, 40 seconds, 1 minute, just have a look. Okay, this is what it is expecting from me. You have understood the purpose, the intent is clear. Next, before reading the passage, skim through. What is skim? Skim is like, You're not getting into the depths, but you are aware about what the overall intent of the passage is. You can understand the purpose, right? So skim through all the questions, not the options. Questions पढ़ो आप सिर्फ. This tells your brain what information to hunt for while reading. Something which I was just saying, right? The moment you are aware about what the questions are asking from you, you are aware like what you have to emphasize more on. For example, Ramesh was born in this, he went to college at this time, he got married at this year, blah blah blah. Three, four dates are there. Okay. Now, either you can be while you're casually reading, oh my God, too many dates. And we tend to avoid dates while we are reading because we feel that is not important. But how? If you're not even aware about what the question is asking from you. So then you'll be like, okay, they are asking me about birth date or the college date or the date he went into the college or the year he went into the college. Then you'll come back to the passage again. Then you'll look for acha college date. Okay, no birth date. So why do you want to do back and forth, right? That's why it is required, and it is something which I would say smart people are doing. That they read the questions, they know the intent, and then they continue with the reading comprehension. Okay, if I'm making sense to all of you, please you can mention like yes or no or whatever your take is. I would really appreciate if you can, just pitch in. Amazing. Now, continuing with the second phase. Fine, you have read the questions. Next is active reading, not the passive. Passive is like casually reading, and active is like when you are reading for look while you're looking for some answers, right? So read the first and last sentence of each paragraph carefully. They carry the main idea first and the last. So you'll understand the tone and the narrative of the entire paragraph, like what it is expecting from you, what it wants to tell you. Second, mark the tone. Is the author arguing for or against? For and against what it is. Usually, when we do a debate, then there is like, okay, is AI making students lazy or smart? So if I am a kind of a person who wants to be a part of the debate, then I have to pick a side. And I'll be saying, okay, I'm going to talk in the favor of the motion, right? Or the cause or the topic or whatever. And if there are people who do not agree with me, they're gonna go in against of that. So with the tone of the entire passage, you'll also understand if the author is talking for the favor regarding whatever the conversation or the knowledge or the information is given to you or against. That's how you are going to rectify. There are multiple ways as well. It's not like there is only going to be for and against, but you get the gist, right? Next is the tone critical? Critical, neutral, or appreciative? Critical is little serious, neutral, fine, appreciative, little positive, right? Next is circle transition words. Transition words, you have to circle them. It is very important. Usually, to be very honest, nobody told me this, but when I was doing my TOEFL, then one of my tutors, she was like, you know what, Simran, start doing it, right? So what I did is I started doing however, but yet. Why it is important? Because they show the direction. For example, someone was talking in the favor, right? Whatever the conversation was, and just after the transition words, it turned into the against. So that's how you can also approach it. Next is don't memorize, understand the mapping of the passage. And how you can understand the mapping of the passage, where is topic X discussed, which paragraph has detail, why, and all of that. Map it out. From here it started, then he went to this, then he went to this. There must be a loop that the entire, like, it started with an introduction and it will be wrapping up with a conclusion. So just follow that sort of a loop. Next is the phase 3. Phase 3 is answering each question type using its own technique. Now what does this mean? It means that there is a question type, main idea, and primary purpose, right? Primary purpose is like the passage is mainly about the whatever the passage is about. For example, maybe it is talking about a social cause, right? So you can eliminate the options or you can eliminate the things which are not required, which are there to just confuse you, right? Because you've already read the question, so you know what is required and what is not required. So based on the questions, map it out. For example, there are 3, 4 questions they are asking you. I'm going to come up with some example passages as well. They're asking you like, like if it is centered on one cause and there are facts related to it. So, for example, if the one question is asking you about a date, then the place, and then the time. Just hypothetically, I'm saying. So you know what you're looking for, just highlight it, just, or either just write it, be very quick with it. Okay, this is required, just highlight it. Then direct or factual, like according to the passage, this is there, blah blah blah, and go back to the passage and find the exact line. There are things where they're gonna ask you like, what was Ramesh saying when he meant or when he said this, when he was expecting something from this, blah blah blah. So you know that they're indirectly or directly asking you one response, that what he was saying or what he meant. So you now know the tone of the entire passage. That's how you will approach it. Next is inferences or implications. For example, it can be inferred. So, for example, the passage suggests this. Most likely, it will be like this. That's how you are supposed to take it. Okay. Now, just a second. And I'm going to come back to this with some example questions here. Hmm. Okay, I can see a few more comments here. So, for example, if I ask you all that there are times when you won't be aware about the word, right? So, how do you approach those questions? Because I have some example questions from past question papers and few that I've made myself. So, how do you approach if you are not aware about the, I would say, the words? How do you approach that sort of a question? Waiting for the responses in the chat box here. Okay. For example, you don't know what the word is. I'm gonna ask you this. Let's ask you, because we do this close test, I would say. See, let me share my screen. Ma'am, I have one doubt. Yes, please ask me. Now, have a look at this question and let's decode this, okay? And let's understand what it is trying to ask you. So, this is not the first one. People who are part of the course, we have solved multiple questions like these. What this is asking you is, I'm going to give you an overview. So basically, there are 4 sentences, right? S1, S2, S3, and S4. Now you can see that S2 and S3 is not there. So we have to find out, right? From the options PQR, you have to come up with something where S2 and S3 is connecting the entire narrative of the S1 to S4 questions or sorry, the lines. Now, what is S1? INS Vikrant was the first aircraft carrier to be designed by the Directorate of Naval Design of the Indian Navy. INS Vikrant was the first aircraft carrier, okay, designed by Naval Design. Fine, got it. S4 is saying, due to this, it became the first ship to be built completely using domestically produced steel. We were just talking about an aircraft, and now how come S4 is talking about a ship? Doesn't make any sense. So there are two connecting, I would say, sentences that we have to come up with. Secondly, what can you, before even reading the options, what can you understand? That we have to come up with something that there is some technology, there is some process, or some, I would say, some steps were there which instead of an aircraft carrier, they transform the same sort of an technology or something like that, or same sort of a design, because they were talking about naval design here, that made them turn it into a ship. Or that's how they came up with something, like where they were using domestically produced steel. So some design, steel, and link between aircraft and ship is there. That is quite obvious and very common, right? Now, okay. So what you have to do is you have to answer that what do you think between P, Q, and R would be the right answers? Okay, so to be very honest, I am only expecting you guys to answer the questions here. So let's understand. Let's decode it. That P is there. The keel for Vikrant was laid by the defense minister at the Cochin shipyard on 28th February 2009. Okay. Some more inputs, right? It took a long time to build a warship, which was indigenously built by the Cochin shipyard. In the fourth sentence, we're talking about domestically produced steel, right? Indian steel and all of that. But in Q, we are talking about something like where we have used a Cochin shipyard and indigenously built by those people and all of that. Like we are coming up with some explanations there. Next, about 26,000 tons of different types of steel were manufactured by the Bhilai Steel Plant, Chhattisgarh, and Rourkela Steel Plant, Odisha. So this could make some sense here because we're talking about the steel plants and places that we have in India and how much they have produced, right? So what do you think would be the right answer? I can see quite different answers here. I would really appreciate if we are coming up with a line of a explanation maybe. Why do you think the answer that you've mentioned is the right one? Any explanations here? PQR. Okay, so most of the people are saying, okay, you all are saying, like, generally, you all are saying all the options now. I can see QR, PR, RQ, QP. Yes, mostly I can see RQ here. Okay. Is it buffering for you people? It's actually quite fine at my place. Okay. So even if it is buffering, so I have got an amazing response here that R is about manufacturing, Q is about shipyard. Okay. P sentence talking about Vikrant, that's why. Okay. So you guys can link sentences here, right? Now let's understand this and let's decode it as well. So right answer is PR. Why PR is the right answer? Now I need the explanations. Even if you have given the wrong answer or you thought that's not the answer, still why do you think PR is the right answer? Come on. Why do you think PR is the right answer? Okay, fine. I am going to get into it. See, so basically, sentence one was about INS Vikrant introduction, like he did this and all of that. Sentence four was became first ship built domestically. That's what we also focused on or emphasized more on. Now we needed. I always talk about the explanation that we needed construction start information, that how it started in India, because they concluded that it we got the steel domestically, and then we also need the steel production information. So P, what's P here? P is the keel for Vikrant was laid by this, and then R, about this much of the steel was produced. That's how you link every single aspect of, you know, sentences, reading in general, and comprehensions and everything. Now, I have prepared some, just a second. Let me just continue. This would be the last section of the class now. I would be sharing the reading comprehension examples and their strategies because that's the part I have seen people struggling most. Amazing. And with this part, no, I would be expecting good responses. Okay. I hope you will be very actively reading it, taking out time. Come on. Okay. I'll zoom it a little. Yes. So there is this passage. As I was talking about the strategy, that we are not supposed to just read the passage. We are supposed to read the questions first and then we have to look for the things. Now, come on, I'm giving you all 2 minutes to. Okay, I have the answers there. Okay, fine. I'm going to do it like this. You have to identify what is the main idea of the passage. This is the first question. What is the main idea of the passage? And before even showing you the options, because I'm just having this for a test, I want you all to read it and then just tell me in one sentence in the chat box, what do you think is the main idea of the passage? Come on. Waiting for responses now and some active ones only. Yes, yes, definitely the PDFs will be shared with you. Come on. Now, everyone, please read the passage and tell me what's the main idea. Just by reading briefly, skimming through the passage, what do you think is the main idea of the entire passage? Because if you are able to do that, then half of the things are already done. Trust me. Rapid development of AI and its implication. It looks like AI is helpful for humans. Okay. After reading the passage, looks like okay, amazing, amazing. Like I really appreciate responses. Yeah. See, so I'm going to only talk about just a second. The options and why which one's correct. So we got like four options here. AI will soon replace all human workers. So if the option A was correct, it means the passage would have given you that sort of a notion that It is talking about the, challenges and the implications and the negative effect of AI, right? But that's not the tone of the entire passage. That's what I say, no, we have to understand the tone first. So the moment you've read it, no, you can literally discard this options like, अरे ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. This is not the right answer, right? The availability of vast data, which call ML, amazing. Yes, so it's like a positive tone, right? All of the responses that I'm getting, I can understand you guys are able to understand that yes, it is a positive tone. So we understand the tone now. Second is AI has become common, offers great benefit, but also carries significant risk and challenges. Okay, fine. It looks a little neutral here that we're talking about the benefits, but also the challenges we might encounter. Machine learning is the only important development in AI. Now I could see few people mentioning about machine learning. But do you really think the entire tone or the main idea of the passage is just machine learning? Because we're talking about the main core idea. We are not talking about the subtopics here. If you would have, like, if you had the same notion, then you might have marked the options here and that could have been wrong, right? So you have to understand the main idea is just main idea, the subject. If we are talking about AI is the main idea. Now, if we are talking about AI in a good way or a bad way or a neutral way, that is the next thing. Thirdly, if there are subtopics, don't look for the subtopics when somebody is asking about the main idea. Now, why B option is correct? Because option B covers all four paragraphs. Why? Paragraph 1 was about prevalence. Prevalence is how it's growing and how it's completely practical and easier for others and how it's practically helping others as well, right? Second is how AI works, definitely. Third is how, like the limitations of AI and everything. Next is future governance questions, what in future in terms of government and restrictions and laws and things we have to come up with. A and D are contradicted by paragraph 3. That is something that we can understand. A and D, how can they be contradicted? That AI will replace humans and AI system are better than humans. So this is contradicting or not? And what did I mention? That always eradicate the two extremes. Always. If the passage is the bits and pieces of the neutral tones, the good tones, the bad tones, that's what neutral is, then always eradicate the extreme ones. Now, if you would have eradicated these two, right? Machine learning is the not the core option. Like this, that is not the core idea. So this would have been like directly your response. That's how quick you have to be. You can't be just be very vague, like, okay, fine, if this doesn't seem fine, let's go ahead with it. No. Why are you just going ahead with your intuition when it is asking you about the main idea? Next question. I'm not going to show the answers. Yeah. Direct detail is something that you have to provide here. Okay. According to the passage, which three factors have driven AI's rapid development? According to the passage, which three factors have driven AI's rapid development? I'm going to come back to the passage here again. Three factors, only three factors. Gonna show the question again. Which three factors have driven AI's rapid development? Three factors due to which AI is or was rapidly developing. Yes, I can see one gentleman mentioning option A, C, and D looks like negative or other than the paragraph. True, very true. That's how you sense. Now, come on, mention about the three factors very quickly. Digital data, ML, AI devices. Okay. ML, data driven device, growth, availability, and breakthroughs, more computing power, more data, and machine learning. Acha. Now, if I paste just a second, if I paste the options in the chat box, then you answer from those four options. What do you guys think, right? Let me paste those options in the chat box here. Okay. A, B, C, and I think D is also pasted. No, fine. Yeah, lovely. Now, out of these four options, please choose. Yeah, it is direct question, yes. But still, like I've been getting multiple responses, no? So I thought like why don't we just go on with understanding if you've understood the actual responses or not. Okay. Most of the people are saying B is the correct option. Amazing. All are saying B is the right answer. Wonderful. Yes, you all are very correct. And why it's the right answer? Because exactly in the paragraph 2, it is mentioned. Let me just show you my screen again. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now I'll be posting there only. Hmm. Coming back to this, see, why B is the right answer? It might seem like, oh my God, she's going on with the reading for comprehension only. But I want you to develop that sort of an approach. Instead of solving 15 questions, I want you to develop that approach that is going to make you solve those 30, 40, 50 questions as well in future only, right? So why this is correct? Because in the paragraph 2, it is specifically mentioned that exponential growth in computing power, availability of vast quantities of digital data, and breakthroughs in machine learning. This is the direct detail question. Go back and find the first three items listed. Okay. Now computing power, large amount. Paragraph 2, come here. See, right here it is mentioned. So easy, right? That's what we have to do. We have to make things easy for us. Now, I'm going to ask you all vocabulary. So, yes, there is a word called perpetuate. I mean, the meaning is right there, but still, what do you think would be the most near word and what it could mean? So, I'm going to paste just a second. I hope the team is active to paste the responses there on the channel. Let me. Yes. So I am posting on YouTube the four options, and what you all have to do, you all have to. Oh, you must have got the answer. What a waste. But still, the word perpetuates, it's there in the paragraph 3. Most nearly means, instead of you just cheating, I would really appreciate. Nobody is weak in English, to be honest. Okay, I can see few. I can see few responses here. Continuing. Okay, options. Let me paste. I'm going to tell you. First is eliminate permanently, continue to or maintain indefinitely, and then option C is investigate. Just a second. See, now I have posted their options A, B, C, and D. I had to post twice because, of course, it was limiting the word count. Okay, few of the people are saying C, few are saying B. Okay. From the paragraph 3, let me just share my screen. This is the paragraph 3. Yes, 1, 2, and 3. This one. Perpetuate. Options I've already pasted. B or C, B or C. This is what I'm getting. Okay, amazing. So let's find out what's the right answer. Yeah, although I mean, this is a very common word. Please, if you don't know, you can write it down somewhere. Perpetuate. Perpetuate, The word, it's just making you sound soft. Perpetuate. So that's the tone I talk about. If this is giving that positive sort of a sound, then that's how you're supposed to do it, right? For example, continue or maintain indefinitely. Context is in what sense it has been mentioned or said. AI systems can perpetuate and amplify the biases in their training data. AI systems can perpetuate and amplify the biases. So perpetuate is like they can maintain or they can continue as well as amplify. So the entire tone is quite positive, right? They can amplify the biases in their training data. Yes. So what this is making them do, this is something which is making them keep on going rather than ending it. So that's how you fit in. I mean, that's how we have to just expand our vocabulary as well. Next is, I'm not gonna go back and forth. First is inference. It can be inferred from the passage that AI system trained on biased data are. So what is inference? How is that making you sound like? Capable of producing unfair results even without deliberate intent. Inference, interruptions, interfere. Negative sound, negative tone, harsh sound, harsh tone. That's how you get it. Capable of producing unfair results. In that's what we say, no? He's been interrupting, and then that's how you get into it, and then that's how you can also make a sense in a way like it is also capable of producing unfair results even without deliberate intent. AI can perpetuate and amplify biases in training data, leading to unfair outcomes. This implies unfairness can arise from the data, not from intentional design. The passage lists hiring, lending, and criminal justice. Next, we have to understand the tone here. The author's tone in the passage is best described as what was the overall tone? Because we already, from the first question right here, we understood that the tone is not too extreme, not too good, not too bad. It was balanced, right? So, for the tone part, we can say that balanced and informative, presenting both promise as well as concern. Very obvious to understand. Okay. So, with this, we're gonna end our live today. And I had already taken a screenshot of paragraph. Amazing. Hello, okay. Coding and all, to be very honest, I'm not good at all of that. It's all gibberish to me, right? So definitely I'll see you all very soon. And it was lovely just connecting with all of you. And I really appreciate you all showing up here and responding actively. That's a very good thing. That's I would say that's the most important part of being a learner. So if you're already able to do that, then you're halfway there. And I would say just best of luck for your interviews, your exams, your life in general. And even if things doesn't seem to work out the way you've been wanting them to, it's fine. Just have that sort of a faith in you and you'll be able to do it. Okay? Okay, then, everyone. I will see you all next time very soon. Bye bye and best of luck for everything. If you're a part of the team, then definitely you have it on your portal. If not, you can get in touch with the team and they're going to share the same with you. Okay? Bye bye.